Hey guys, how you doing? Remember I mentioned a while back in a video I'm not very good at always doing the recording for YouTube videos and stuff, and so often I come down here to the shop and I get involved in little things. I come down and all of a sudden I'm like, yeah, let me look at this. I start looking at something and I fuss with it before I know I'm doing a project. This is no different. I came down because I want to make a plaque, and originally I was thinking about doing a piece of wood. It's a ash burl. I was thinking about doing this, but it's too big for just the badge itself, and it's too small if I want to do the badge with like a small picture of the knife that I made for the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial Fund. So I got to thinking, well, and also it's light colored, and having the color and the brass and everything that the badge is, it kind of blends in a little bit with that. It doesn't pop as much. So I have a couple of plaques in my office, and they're for my antler mounts and such when I got my deer in the past. And one of them is mahogany, and I have a bunch of mahogany here down in the shop, and I have a piece of mahogany like this. Now it's kind of blah at first, but the mahogany that I have there, once it's lacquered up, or it's got a good polyurethane finish or something on it, it's really sharp. And so I held the badge up to that. That was pretty cool. So what I'm thinking about doing is, instead of doing a plaque with the picture of the knife I made, I want to do the plaque, and I want to make it the shape of the crest of the shield. I'll show you. I want to make it the shape of that. So hopefully you guys will see that. So that crest right there with the rose, I want to do it this. I want to do that. So it'll either be this way or this way, but I want to shape this mahogany the same way the shield is being shaped. And then I would put the badge in the middle of it, so I'd have enough room. And if I get real creative, I'm going to try to draw it out and maybe use like a Dremel tool with fine points and do the rose on it too. And so it would be a mahogany stained like that, or maybe even the mahogany, but maybe a really watered down blue. So I don't know, I was thinking of like that, but I was thinking of the mahogany shaped badge, the shield, and then doing that rose. So even if I make the plaque, even if the plaque is mahogany, it's got a nice lacquered finish and like a clear coat, you would have that green, that watered down green rose stem with the red at the rose head and stuff like that, and I could do that. And I like doing woodwork. I like doing that kind of stuff. That's why I like knife making too. I like the intricacies of things. So I'm thinking about doing that. So I'm going to go and take this piece of wood upstairs to the house, or up to the house, and I'm going to print up the rose and shield. I'm going to try to blow it up as much as I can and draw it out, and then trace it on this, and then I can use my router and do all that. And I'm going to do a little video on that. So that's going to be cool. I know it's not knife related, but it's pretty cool. And also, I came down here because once I found the wood, I grabbed my mahogany and I started to sand down the edge of this, and I wanted to show you the color of this. And that's, or not mahogany, I'm sorry, the cocobolo. And I really like that cocobolo look. So this, I'm going to use the cocobolo with the ivory, and I'm going to epoxy it together, and I think I'm going to get a little creative with some black and the black liners and the ivory, mix them all up. So I figured, well, I'll start doing that, and I'll show you little guys, what I'm doing, fussing around, what kind of idea I'm getting, and epoxying it up. So come along, let's cut this up and get it going. Now you're going to see why I like this cocobolo so much. I'm going to run it over here on the sander real quick, and we'll clean up the edge. Okay, let's see here. Some rubbing alcohol here to clean these up a little bit. Get all the dust and everything off of them. Gets it going, but see his book match end here. I don't know if that helps at all. I'm trying to get a good picture of it. Maybe that's it. There we go. Look at that. That's pretty. That is pretty wood. So we're going to go ahead and include that. So I'm going to include this wood with the ivory. And I'm thinking about doing black liners. So what I was thinking about doing is, I'm actually debating about taking the cocobolo and cutting it in half. I'm going to cut it right in half, and the cocobolo would be on either side of the knife. And then the this is the linen micarta. This is ivory paper micarta. And what I'm thinking about doing with this is cutting it in strips, and then cutting the liner in strips, and then doing a little piece of black and fiber liner in the middle, and then do like a 1/4 inch piece of ivory. So I would have the Cocobolo, I would have black, ivory, black, ivory, black, and so on, and then Cocobolo again. When I sit here and I talk to a camera, I have a hard time saying, oh yeah, this is going to look awesome, Chad. So we'll see, but I think that's going to be the right idea. But yep, so I'm going to be working on this plaque. I'm going to take it back up to the house. I'm going to draw that up and trace it. That's going to be a cool video series. That's going to be really neat, making that kind of thing. I'm going to have to freehand that. I don't have a router table. But yeah, so that's the plan. So I'll get going on this and we'll see what happens. So what I did is I decided to cut 4 pieces 1 inch wide. So 4 of these are 1 inch wide. What I'm going to do is I'm going to sand them down. I'm going to sand them 60 or 120 grit just to rough this up. And I'm going to cut liner, and I'm going to put a piece of liner in between each one of these and epoxy it and clamp it together. Wrap it in wax paper, clamp it together, let it set for a day. Come back in 24 hours and then take it apart, and then I'm going to rip it down the middle. And then this part, one part will be the right side of the scales, the other one will be the left half of the scales. I'm going to rip this in half. I'm going to square off the edges here. I'm going to rip this right in half so I have an equal size. And then when I have these, I'm going to have the micarta. This is micarta. The micarta in the middle with the black liner. So it'll be black liners and micarta. So, okay. I'm very indecisive right now. I want to change my mind again, and I'm trying not to do that. So let's get crack-a-lacking on that. Oh. Oh. This camera's killing me. I started going through recording. I turned the camera on. Battery showed full. I haven't recorded but maybe 4 or 5 takes and a couple of things. That's it. Not much. It was a fresh battery. I start cutting up these and these. Go to shut the camera off and it's already off. I go check the camera doesn't have any more battery. And it didn't take any of the video that I had. So, this Nikon 1 is killing me. These batteries suck. Okay, well, I cut the little squares, my little 1 inch. What I'm going to do is I checked it out, and I am took the block, micarta, paper micarta, cut it in 1 inch. I'm about ready to go up to the house and call it quits. I was working this morning. I was doing the porch and doing some other stuff, but yeah. Anyhow, I cut my micarta 1 inch, and I cut the paper fiber liners, and there's some more. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to turn around and I'm going to glue all these together. I'm going to sand them down, glue them together, let them set up. I'm going to take these scales, this book match end that I did just a little while ago, and I'm going to cut them in half. I'm going to square up the ends. I'm going to cut it in half. And then when these are set and dried, I'm going to rip these in half because these are just over 1 inch wide. So I'll be able to rip them down the middle. And then they'll be the insert between this. So I'm going to do Cocobolo on both the front and back of the knife as the scales, and I'm going to have this down the middle of it. So I'm going to go sand these down roughly and then mix up some epoxy. Get you guys back here a little bit. So I'm going to get a paper towel because I'm pretty sure the contrasting of my black rubber work mat and these black liners and everything are just really wreaking havoc on the camera. Plus, when I clean these with acetone, I want everything off to the side and looking good. So I got these little package. I picked these up off of Amazon or something. mixing cups because the epoxy I use now works a lot better, and because the epoxy is pre-measured, it works out well. But I was using the all the little cups you get from like NyQuil and stuff like that, but we don't have any more of it. So let's grab some epoxy here. So we use the resin, the first part A. One full complete stroke, and then one stroke here. And that's it. So let's get a stick and mix it. So anyhow, we'll mix this up, and then we'll get to, I gotta get the wax paper out too, and some clamps so we can clamp these together. So I'll smear some generous amount of epoxy, smear it even. Smear it all the way across there. I'm gonna put some across my little liner piece here. Okay, now what I want to do is move this out of the way. What I'm going to do is I'm going to actually keep this on the paper, the wax paper here, and I want to line these up just right. Where's my knife at? Where'd my little Stanley knife go? There we go. Cut that little strip like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim down this wax paper enough to where this wax paper will just kind of help hold things together slightly. Put wax paper over it like this so I got something to clamp to. Take my wood here, these wood clamps like this. So that'll help keep that together. There we go. So that's going to keep everything even. The liners were all just a little bit bigger. Just a hair bigger than everything else. But that's got good pressure going this way. There's plenty of epoxy going there. And then this clamp is going to keep all of them that way. Okay, I think that should work out okay. I think it'll work out, yeah. You see what I'm doing, right? Confidence building. I'm going to take these down, I'm going to cut them up a little bit and clean them, and then that's it. So I'll do a part 2 on this, how these scales glued up. I'll rip them in half, and then we'll then attach them to this Cocobolo, epoxy them that way, and go from there. So stay tuned, guys. Thanks again. Appreciate all the support. Don't forget to like, share, comment. Keep me out of the bottom YouTube bucket, and we'll catch you in the next video. Bye.